Hey everybody, Thomas Joseph here. Now, classic Potstickers can be made with a variety of ingredients, but sometimes when you make them at home, they're soggy and oily and disappointing overall. Well, today I'm going to share with you a few tricks and tips in making delicious Potstickers that are crisp and juicy. Let's get started. So before we get into making the dumplings themselves, we have to make the filling. Now, I'm using a classic filling that has a little bit of Napa cabbage, which is this guy right here. This is really finely chopped Napa cabbage, and it's about 1/2 cup. Now, if you didn't have access to Napa cabbage and you wanted to substitute something else, you could use a Savoy cabbage, which is a nice tender cabbage. You could even use iceberg lettuce as well. I know that sounds a little bit weird, but it has a very similar texture to it. To this, I'm gonna add 1/2 teaspoon of coarse salt, and I'm just gonna mix these two together. And what the salt is gonna do, it's gonna pull out a good amount of moisture from the Napa cabbage, and what that's gonna do is it's gonna help us to kind of regulate the amount of moisture that's in the filling, which will help to avoid a soggy pot sticker in the end. So just mix this together. I'm using my hands here, but you could certainly use a fork or a spoon, and put this off to the side, room temperature, for about 10 to 20 minutes, and then we're gonna squeeze it dry. All right, guys, so after 10 minutes, look at this. You can see that a good amount of water has come out of the Napa cabbage, and this is exactly what you want. You can take a piece of paper towel, or you could do this by hand, or you could use a clean kitchen towel. Just empty out your Napa cabbage, and then give this a squeeze, and all of that excess moisture is gonna come out, and we're gonna have a nice filling that's not going to be too loose and that won't saturate our dumpling wrappers and make our dumplings soggy in the end. So that looks good. Just gonna put this into a bowl here, and I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients. Now, I'm making pork-filled Potstickers today, but really you could use so many different fillings. You could make them vegetarian with mushrooms and Napa cabbage. That would be really fantastic. You could use shrimp, which is really great, really up to your tastes. Along with the Napa cabbage, I'm gonna add 6 ounces of ground pork. When you're buying ground pork, you wanna make sure that you're not buying anything that's too lean. You need the fat because you want to have something that's really succulent and juicy in the end, and that fat is going to give you what you need. So, in addition to the pork, I'm gonna add some scallions. Now, 3 scallions finely minced. If you didn't wanna use chives or scallions, onion would be great, even a little bit of shallot would be really great. 1 teaspoon of soy sauce here, regular soy sauce, and 1 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. Last ingredient that I'm gonna add is some ginger. This is probably about like a 2-inch piece of ginger, and I'm just gonna mince this up. I need about a tablespoon of ginger for this recipe, and what I like to do is thinly slice the ginger, stack up a few of these slices, and then cut them into matchsticks. And then take those matchsticks, and then you're gonna mince them up into tiny little pieces. Now, you really want something that's really fine here. You don't want any big chunks of ginger, otherwise it's kind of gonna interrupt your eating experience when you do enjoy these dumplings. So try to get it as fine as possible. Now, if you were uncomfortable here and you didn't really have faith in your knife skills, although I have faith in you, you could certainly use a microplane or a grater of some sort, and you could grate the ginger as well. All right, so ginger is all minced up and ready to go. I'm gonna add this right to my bowl here. And then using a fork, you could use your hands if you wanted to. The one thing I'll just say, I'll caution you, when you're using your hands, you wanna make sure that they're cold. So if you have hot hands, warm hands, I typically do, you don't want to overwork the meat and melt the fat because it's gonna end up giving you kind of a gummy filling, a texture that's really undesirable. So a fork really works well here in getting all of these wonderful aromatic ingredients intermixed with the pork. Our filling mixture is nicely combined, and now it's time to shape the dumplings. Today I'm using store-bought dumpling wrappers, and these are wheat dumpling wrappers, and the method for making the dough is it's a hot water dough. So boiling water is added to wheat flour, which gives a really silky texture to the dumpling wrapper. So it has structure when you're forming these, they're not gonna be too delicate. If you can't find wrappers like this, you could certainly use wonton wrappers that you can get at your local supermarket. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the wrapper, I'm gonna put it in the palm of my hand here, take about a teaspoon of the filling, place it right in the center, and then dab a little bit, I'm gonna bring some water over here, take a little bit of water, and you're gonna go along one side of the dumpling wrapper. And I'm gonna show you two different ways in which you can pleat your dumplings. Now, this is the fast, easy way, and probably the way that a lot of home cooks would do this. So take the dumpling wrapper, fold it together, and you can actually seal it completely. You wanna make sure that you're getting out any air pockets, any air bubbles. And then, starting at one side, what you're gonna do is you're just going to pleat the edge in one direction. Now, as I said before, this is the really easy method, but for the first time dumpling maker, this is a really easy way to achieve something that's really beautiful and something you could also do with your kids at home. So that's one way in making dumplings. And an important thing to do when you guys are shaping and forming your dumplings is to give it a good solid tap on your work surface. And what it does is it creates this wonderful flat bottom to the dumpling, which is what you want, because in the end, we're gonna cook these in a skillet and we want that bottom to get super brown and crispy. So giving it a good tap gives it a nice form, and also you can turn the dumpling a little bit if you wanna give it a crescent shape to it. So that's method number one. Same thing, I'm gonna take another wrapper, filling right in the center, a little bit of water around the edge, and then this is another pleating method, which is pleating along one side. Now, you can do this one of two ways. You can bring the two centers together and pinch, and then you can pleat in one direction towards the center, and then you're going to pleat in the opposite direction. And really, there's so many different ways to create beautiful dumplings. A good tap on the surface, and then repeat the process. Now this filling, it should give you enough to make about 24 pot stickers. So I have some work in front of me to do. All right, so all of the dumplings are formed. Now, if you're gonna do this in advance of a party, I would say put them on a lightly oiled baking sheet like I have here, and cover them with a damp cloth. I'm using a damp paper towel, and when I say damp, I mean something that's just barely damp, nothing that's too wet, otherwise it will start to stick to the dumpling wrappers. Now, a good thing if you wanted to make these in advance, line them up on a cookie sheet like this, put them into the freezer flat until they're solid, frozen, and then you can take them and put them into a resealable plastic bag and they'll stay in your freezer and you can pull them out whenever you need them. Now, we're gonna cook up our pot stickers right now. I'm gonna do about a half of a batch, and I have a nonstick skillet in front of me here. It's my preferred type of skillet for cooking pot stickers. For me, I just prefer the nonstick because I'm ensuring that my pot stickers are not going to stick in the end. So I'm gonna add a little bit of canola oil to the skillet, about a teaspoon, not too much. And you want to use a neutral oil, a high heat oil. So canola oil is great, grapeseed oil, safflower oil, even a peanut oil would be fantastic. So now I have this pan over medium-high heat, and I'm gonna take about 12 of these dumplings, and I'm just going to place them in the pan, and you can hear that the pot stickers are starting to cook. They're crisping up, they're crackling in the oil, and this is what you want. So pot stickers is a 3-step cooking process. The first step is in kind of giving an initial sear or browning to the bottom of your dumplings, and then we're going to steam them so that we cook them all the way through and the wrappers become nice and tender. And then we're going to allow all of that liquid, all of the water that we're gonna add to evaporate, and it's gonna re-crisp the bottom of the dumplings. So 2 more, put them in the center like that. And I'm gonna cook these on this medium-high heat for about, I'd say about 2 to 3 minutes, and see it's just starting to get a little bit of color. These will take a little bit of time, so I'm gonna let these crisp up. All right, it's been a few minutes, you guys, and look at how beautiful and golden brown the bottom is here. And this is the point at which you want to add the water to start the steaming process. Now, grab a tight-fitting lid, and you want to do this, make sure the lid is kind of shielding you because this will kind of pop up a little bit, water and oil. I have a half a cup of water, and I'm just gonna pour it right in. cover the pan and allow these to steam for about 3 to 5 minutes. And what's gonna happen is the water, which you can already tell is kind of evaporating up even with this tight fitting lid. And what's gonna happen, it's gonna evaporate away and our dumplings are going to be steamed all the way through and they're gonna even crisp up further on the bottom and we're gonna have amazing pot stickers. While this is working, I'm gonna make a little dipping sauce. Super simple. This is just some soy sauce. I have some more scallions that I'm gonna finely chop, or you can cut them into, you know, nice little rounds. If you wanna do it on a bias, that's really nice because it looks extra fancy. And I had a little bit of ginger left over, so I'm gonna add that into this as well. Now, if you wanted to add a little bit of sesame oil, you could certainly do that. You could add a little bit of vinegar, but really all you need is a little bit of soy sauce to accent these amazing pot stickers. So, scallions in, and the little matchsticks of ginger. This can hang around for a little bit. You can throw this in your refrigerator. You could leave it out at room temperature just so the flavors have a chance to really meld together. But we're ready to go. We just need our pot stickers to cook. So it's been about 5 minutes and the pot stickers look great. You can see all of that water has evaporated, and this is pretty hot, but I'm gonna try and just turn one of these over. Look at how beautiful and golden brown this dumpling is. So these are ready to come out of the pan. I'm gonna turn the heat off. I'm gonna use a spatula today to fish them out of the pan. I do like to turn them over because this way the beautiful crisp bottom side doesn't get soggy, it doesn't steam. I would encourage you to do that as well. And once you get these on the plate, get them right to the table because they do cool off pretty quickly. And I can't wait. I'm gonna give these a try, you guys. They're really hot. So great, really flavorful, crisp on the bottom, but the dumpling wrapper itself is nice and tender. If you have any kitchen conundrums, please reach out to us using the hashtag Kitchen Conundrums. We love to help you with all of your cooking problems. Enjoy, guys. And as always, guys, click like and subscribe.